Here's a fun fact, or rather a sad one. Not really a lot of people stick with a Partisan. It feels like it's bugged, underperforms in DPS, and doesn't even have decent AoE. It's not your first choice as a multi-weapon either, and doesn't have the best options in terms of weapons. But what if there's a fun way to play this underrated weapon? That's exactly why we're gonna talk about it. Let's go. Before we proceed, let's discuss some basics first. Partisans are not beginner friendly and generally rely on Hunter Art's Avenger, which requires practice, because their parries do not have counterattacks, and that's why it's crucial to learn how to utilize said skills. Contrary to base PSO2, Volcrafter does not have the best damage and has a 60-second cooldown in NGS. Lastly, animation cancel feels a bit awkward and out of tempo compared to most weapons where, generally, our muscle memory understands when to cancel it. Reading these facts might turn you away from using the Partisan, and I won't blame you. But after playing it for hours and hours, I realized that, hey, maybe it does have some tricks up its sleeve, given you have a decent PP pool. So for a short PA rundown, we've got Cleaving Scythe being the fastest to release if uncharged, also known as Emergency Parry, Thrusting Javelin, which is the most common PA you see during boss downs from Partisans, and Fatal Tornado, which comes in second in terms of speed, but makes you very mobile. All three PAs have decent PP costs and carries above average potencies. Also, a quick drop on Assault Charge comes in handy too. Most of us talk about the optimal DPS rotations during boss downs, but we never really talk about what to do to get that boss down. Partisans are beautiful in a way that its kit kind of sucks, but this allows you to open up other multi-weapon options such as Wired Lance, Talus, or even Wands. Since you're not really the star of the DPS show and don't even have endgame weapons besides Vialto and Resurger, you can compensate this with utility by going Force or Tector, replacing your innate weapon parry with something else and assist in elemental downs with techniques. If you want to dish out damage fast for those pesky short windows, utilizing Cleaving Scythe with Assault Charge would be your best option for raw damage, and depending on your range, the decision to go charged or uncharged. The same thing goes for Assault Charge, and if used with Avenger, you'd be dealing some quick and heavy damage. Now, with the power of friendship, the boss is finally down. You've got 17 seconds to beat him up. What's the best thing you could do? We can honestly just dismiss this guide as a Thrusting Javelin montage since it really deals a lot of damage and is pretty convenient during boss downs, but utilizing your PAs and PP pool actually yields more rewards. We found out that you deal 10% more damage out of 5 damage tests. This is the reason why it took a while to publish another video, by the way, by using this combo instead of just holding Thrusting Javelin. So basically, you start with Volcrafter and then charge a full Cleaving Scythe. This is usually enough to detonate Volcrafter. After that, using Thrusting Javelin until the first rotation. You can then start queuing Fatal Tornado since the Spear Throw cannot be cancelled, but you can replace this with Cleaving Scythe depending on your PP pool. After the full animation, you can end the combo with a Javelin hold until you have 10 PP left for a charged assault, as this deals more damage than a Javelin rotation. After studying other spear combos that my mind is only capable of, this is by far the best we came up for boss downs or breaks. It is always advisable to squeeze your Photon Blast during breaks, but save it halfway through, as this displaces you to the other side of the world. Now, let's talk weapons, which is ridiculously limited. Theseus is a good entry weapon. It's cheap, can get the job done, and is consistent with its crit rate, given that you've maxed out your armors. The only downside is a slightly lower base damage, but the perks weigh in heavier than the cons because, again, Partisans aren't the most famous of the bunch, and this weapon really needs commitment to get the full experience. Since Partisans are PP hungry, having Vialto as your buddy would work, as this aids your PP regeneration. The only downside is the lack of multi-weapon options. You only have Talus to merge with, but hey, if you found a fixed attack 4 or 5 during your Vanford Frenzy, it's already a good start. Now, if you want to fully commit to maximizing your crit rate, then Resurger would basically be your endgame weapon with Fixa Fatale 5. Damage is great, potentials are decent, but the only problem is the activation. Not sure if Sega's gonna tweak this, but we'll probably get better weapons down the road. For subclasses specifically for Partisan mains, would recommend going for Tector or Force. The idea here being part of the utility crew. Force adds more rotation options with PP conversion, and Wands also fill in the gap with what Partisans lack, such as a nice weapon parry and elemental weapons. Lastly, their class passives are pretty great, like Awake Isle and PP recovery boost. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope this guide helped you out. Again, we'll add Cabal Mobile soon for our weekly content, so if you're into that, please do subscribe to get notified. If you found value in this NGS guide, we'd appreciate a subscription too. It's the only way we'd know if we're doing a decent job. As always, peace, be nice, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.